Hello world, this is Jeffrey, JB146 Blake, coming to you with a new series. We're just going to call it Expanded Firebox, because that's what it is. It's an expanded deck list focused on kind of a Fire Toolbox strategy. By the way, you can see my face because yesterday was my birthday and I got some new goodies, including a webcam, a more powerful microphone, and some other stuff that doesn't really come into play here. Anyway, without further ado, we'll go ahead and take a look at the deck list. I do want to touch real quick on the win rates. You can see I've won 32 out of 42 games, so that's about 76% currently. That's compared to what I'm seeing currently is a 60% win rate with Trevenant Break in Expanded. I definitely don't have an optimal Trevenant list yet. I was trying to go with some of the standard energy denial strategies, but energy acceleration is such a big thing in the meta now that the energy denial methods don't seem to be working very well. So I expect this will tick up and we'll probably at least be able to hit 70% with Trev, but we'll get there when we get there. I also have a pretty fair amount of experience with old school Volcanion, doing the Shaymin turbo setup. And with that list, with a standard Volc list, I was only seeing like 50% win rate. So I definitely like the Firebox approach better. I think it's better suited for the current meta. But, you know, to each his own. With that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the deck. So we'll go ahead and just expand this out. We do play one copy of Shaymin to help with card draw. That can come in clutch in certain situations using the setup ability. We play two copies of Ho-Oh-GX. Ho-Oh is kind of our preferred primary attacker, but not always going to be what we use to attack with. We've got the Sacred Fire attack that does 50 to anyone on our opponent's field. This can be impacted by steam ups, so potentially we could get that up to, since we're playing 3 Volks, we could get that up to 140, 150 with the Fighting Fury Belt. Not quite enough to take a one-hit KO, but pretty good. And then the Phoenix Burn attack for 180 is the big thing here. That's the key. And that's the attack that we're going to use probably most often, but saying most often is definitely a misnomer because it is a 4 energy attack. So usually when we're using it, it's either after a Turtonator Eternal Flame, not Eternal Flame, that's this GX attack, after a Turtonator Energy GX attachment, or after a turn 1 Kiawe where he otherwise wouldn't have been able to attack. But so this is a big attacker. The key point and the reason we like Ho-Oh in many situations is that he's weak to lightning, not to water. So that means that we get a much more beneficial coverage against water decks. Next, we're playing a 1-1 line of Salandit and Salazzle-GX. Salazzle is basically our late game cleanup because of this Diabolical Claws attack that'll, once you have 4 prize cards taken, do 200 base damage. Now, Salazzle is a stage 1. That means that we cannot steam up to increase Salazzle's damage. I know this is a common mistake people are making, because they're just so used to being able to steam up and affect any fire Pokemon's attack. But that's because Volcanion's previously been played almost exclusively with basics. Salazzle can't take advantage of steam up, can't take advantage of Fighting Fury Belts, could take advantage of Choice Band, but currently I'm not playing a Choice Band in here. I haven't found the need, and the extra HP from Fighting Fury Belts has been more helpful. But we can do this Heat Blast attack, which actually has some relevance in the expanded meta. There's a lot of evolutions, and specifically Trevenant is 110 damage. So that can work out for us for sure. We've got 2 copies of Turtonator-GX. So Turtonator is going to be our primary attacker against decks that are playing lightning Pokemon. This Bright Flame attack does 160 base damage, can be steamed up. So with 3 Volcanions out, that would be 250. I'm not saying that's going to happen frequently, but it can. And Turtonator also discards 2 of the energies attached. So you can do a single attachment and then get 2 extra energies on in a number of ways, and then attack immediately, and that can very, very frequently be a powerful attack turn 1. If we're facing anything that attacks based on the number of energies that we're playing, Bright Flame may be the attack that we want to play. So against like Yveltal decks, we might want to go with Bright Flame. Against, if Gardevoir starts having a more intense presence in Expanded, then we'd want to play Bright Flame there. Of course, we also have this Nitro Tank GX attack, and Nitro Tank is a great GX attack. Once you have 5 energies in the discard, we have a number of ways to do that. Usually we just kind of let it happen naturally, / with steam ups, but occasionally we'll do some other tricks to get there. That is probably the most common GX attack that we will be using. Every once in a while, there's been a situation that has called for using Ho-Oh's GX attack to put, quote, 3, but really it's up to 3. I mean, I guess if you have them and you have the bench space, you need it, but fire Pokemon from the discard pile back onto the bench. We can, late game, end up using this. If we're going to be in a horrible situation, we can use this attack in order to get a Salazzle out of the discard pile and onto the bench to then clean up late game. I have yet to use Queen's Haze GX ever. That's not saying it will never be used, but so far I just haven't had an opportunity. Continuing with the deck, we have 2 copies of the Baby Volcanion, down to 2 from as many as 4 in some Volcanion lists, because we don't use Power Heater that much. Every once in a while it's important, but I could even see going down to just playing 1 copy here. We played 2 Tapu Lele just for the Wonder Attack ability, although the the attack, the primary attack here, Energy Drive, can be important too. I've actually had games where Ho-Oh was prized and I was playing a water deck, and using Energy Drive, I attached manually, then used Kiawe onto Lele because that's the only Pokemon I could get out, and I was playing a Lapras deck, and then I ended up just rolling them because they took so many energy to power up. By the time they were able to attack, I was taking 1-hit KOs. So Lele can be a good attacker in certain situations, but usually is just there to search for supporters. And then finally we're playing 3 copies of Volcanion-EX, mostly for the steam up ability to add 30 damage to all basic, and you see the word there, basic fire Pokemon attacks. Of course, this does stack, so you could potentially, with the 3 we're playing, be up to adding 90 damage if necessary. And that's the Pokemon lineup. So let's quickly blaze through our items and supporters. We've got 2 battle compressors just to get energy and or supporters into the discard pile. That's pretty much that. A lot of times this will combine with a VS Seeker in order to choose your supporter on the first turn. It can combine with a Blacksmith in order to attach 3 energies on turn 1 and still be able, well, I guess turn 2, so to speak. Like if you're going second, you can use Battle Compressor and Blacksmith or VS Seeker with 2 or more fire energies, get them onto the active, and then attack potentially for 160 with Turtonator, more if you have fire energies in hand as well. Computer Search just lets you discard 2 cards and choose a card out of your hand, out of your deck. Very powerful. Field Blower, we all know what it does. Discard tools or stadiums. Ultra Ball via Seeker, getting back supporters. Scorched Earth lets you discard a fire energy and get 2 more cards. So it combines what we need to get more fire energies into the discard with the with extra draw. So, and by the way, just to rehash real quick. So the reason we want fire energy in the discard, right? Turtonator-GX attack can attach up to 5. Blacksmith can attach 2 every turn if we want to use him as our supporter. Kiawe doesn't attach from the discard, but he can attach up to 4. So basically, as it's Blacksmith and Turtonator, but that attachment is very powerful. We play 1 copy of Acerola, mostly for recycling Fighting Fury belted Ho-Ohs. Occasionally it'll come into play elsewhere, but Ho-Oh has that attack where he can't attack next turn, does 100 damage. If we have another attacker ready to go, sometimes the best play can be to Acerola, get him off the board, get the Fighting Fury belt back, attach it to our backup attacker, and then start powering up Ho-Oh again for following turns. And note that Ho-Oh only takes now 2 turns to fully power up while we're still able to attack with other things, because we can attach manually on 1 turn, then we blacksmith and do another manual attachment to reach that 4 energy attack cost. So it's not hard to get a Ho-Oh powered up and expanded. Other supporters, we talked about Blacksmith. Colress, just giving you card draw. A lot of times you have your bench full. A lot of times your opponents will have their bench full. And Skyfield's a thing in Expanded, so you can see, there have been games where I have drawn 16 cards off of a Colress, which is awesome. Of course, we play Guzma in order to choose our opponent's Pokemon who we want to attack against, and in order to flip Ho-Oh in and out of the active. In Sycamore, standard draw supports, we're only playing 1 in because that seems sufficient currently. We might change that count, but between the in and the Colress and then the 4 Sycamores, it seems good. We do want to be doing a lot of discards, so Sycamore as a higher count than in really kind of makes sense. I touch base on Kiawe, but we'll talk about him again. A lot of times on turn 1, if you're able and you have Ho-Oh out, you're not going to be able to attack anyway, so you'll play Kiawe to attach 4 energy to Ho-Oh, have him completely powered up going into turn 2, and that'll be that. But again, Blacksmith being a thing, if you have other options turn 1, it may be better to just play a Blacksmith if you have enough energy in the discard, because then you can attack, right? Finally, rounding things out, we've got 2 Fighting Fury belts, 2 Float Stones. Obviously, the Float Stones help with Pokemon who can't attack 2 turns in a row. Fighting Fury belt, boosts damage, boosts HP. It's a good deal. Seagrove previously did some math wherein he showed that there's really not as big a difference between the Fighting Fury belt based damage and the Choice belt based damage in a Volcanion deck. Volcanion only occasionally will have to steam up 1 less time with the Choice Band, but a lot of times it's actually the same number of steam ups. So I went with Fighting Fury belt because the extra HP seems more important than saving a steam up every now and then. Finally, I guess we play 14 fire energies. We want to have a lot of energy because we want to hit not just 1 energy, but we really like to hit multiple energy almost every turn. So 14 is a good number for that. It's higher than most counts. I could actually see this going higher, except that there's nothing that we want to take out. So if there's any cards that you don't see yourself using, and you don't feel an immediate need, playing a few more fire energy can actually help this deck. With that, we've pretty much covered the list. We'll go ahead and do a couple quick matches just to kind of act as an overview, and then after that we'll wrap things up, and of course later episodes of the series we'll dig into specific matchups and look at those. Okay, so after recording the initial segment, I saw that we needed to adjust the lighting, so I did that. Hopefully this is better. We are going to go ahead and get straight into a match now. And we see water, psychic, and colorless typing. That really does not tell us all that much in Expanded, because colorless is often Shaymin, so that doesn't mean much of anything. Water is often Keldeo-EX, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And psychic is often Lele, so could be really any of those. We see our hand comes down. We're going to be starting Turtonator, which if this turns out to be a water deck, obviously starting Turtonator is not ideal, but that's what we're going to do, and we'll try to make it work. We do at least have the Float Stone in hand, so if we need to, we could use Ultra Ball, get Ho-Oh, and try to power him up. Maybe if we top deck like Lele, we can make that play. Okay. So our opponent just starts one Pokemon. They're going first. They can bench whatever after. And we do see a Manaphy, so this is a water deck. And get an attachment, and they pass. Okay. Okay. Can we make this work? Alrighty. So I want to try to win, I think. We don't want to discard any resources that we have to have, but so if we discard the 2 fire, we need a 3rd fire energy. If Shaymin's in our deck, we might be able to make this work. Okay, so first off, yeah, getting rid. I think we want to attach the Float Stone. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to discard the 2 fire energies. Probably should have done that first just to make sure. I mean, we were going to leave the Float Stone on if we didn't find Shaymin, so it works. Okay, so we got Shaymin. Now I'm going to play the Field Blower, and this gets rid of, like, part of me wants to play the Shaymin, but I think going for the Donk, the extra 1 card drawing here is important, and is more important than the ability to retreat, because we have Guzma in deck. So we'll set up for 4, we get a fire energy, and we get an Ultra Ball, so we win. So we're going to discard anything, it doesn't matter. We're going to get a Lele. Since we play multiple, we can almost be sure that Lele's not prized, but we probably should have double checked since we were going for this. We do play 3 Blacksmiths, so it's almost never a situation that Blacksmith is prized. So we're going to go ahead, grab one of them, we will Blacksmith onto Turtonator, manually attach onto Turtonator, and then we will take a KO on our turn 1, using in this case Bright Flame. So and this is the other path to victory against water decks, is just outspeeding them. Even though Lapras can be played turbo style and can be pretty fast, there's no beating the speed that you can get in a Firebox or Volcanion deck with use of Blacksmith. It can't be beat with just elixirs and patches. So we'll go ahead, we'll get another game in, because obviously that one wasn't a real game, but I thought it was important to include, to sort of show you how this deck can take those quick donk attacks when you wouldn't expect them to. So it's also worth noting that, you know, 2 more cards, another Fire Energy and a Volcanion, means that we could have taken a KO on literally any basic other than Guzzlord when he gets here. Because we would have been able to hit for 190, and that would have done it. Just get that extra steam up. Even just the Fighting Fury Belt means that we get a 1-hit KO on Lele there. So the donk potential, even against higher HP Pokemon, is very much there with this deck, and that's pretty cool. We will just go ahead and jump straight into another match. So here we saw we were against Dark, Colorless, and Psychic. And in Expanded, that usually means it's Turbo Dark. Occasionally it could be Yveltal. People aren't playing a whole lot of Yveltal, at least on PTCGO right now. We see that we are gifted a Ho-Oh and a Baby Volcanion. We can sort of start whichever one we want, and since we have no other means of doing much of anything, I'm not going to count on being able to power up Ho-Oh right away. And so I'm going to go ahead and start the Baby Volcanion, looking to use his Power Heater attack to attach some extra energies. Kind of funny because I think I mentioned before that we don't use that attack much, but occasionally it comes in, pretty good, pretty important. Our opponent plays an in, which maybe saves us from a not so great hand. Maybe. Okay, so we can play that on our stadium, so we can draw more cards off of Fire Energy. We'll probably see plenty of them. And then I think we just finish the Vulcan Sycamore because we need more cards. Okay, so we get 2 Fire Energies here. We'll discard the one, draw some extra cards with our stadium, and I really want one more because I want to be able to steam up and still attack. Mostly because I want to be able to attach multiple energies, but doing a little bit of extra damage is good too. So I think what we're going to do is actually play the Ultra Ball, and let's see, we can discard the Stadium, and I guess the Sycamore. That should be okay. Yeah. And we'll get a Shaymin. What I'm thinking, we get Shaymin and try to get another Fire Energy, so we'll probably go ahead too and play the other Ultra Ball. I'm just trying to maximize our chances to get another Fire Energy. Glancing at our deck, we do only have a Colress and a Sycamore left for draw support, so this is a little bit dangerous again. But once we have energies in the discard and we have energies attached to Ho-Oh and to Volcanion, we get to the point that we don't need a ton of draw support. We'll be wanting to use the other supporters like the Blacksmiths and the Guzmans. So I think it's okay to go ahead and do this. We're going to want to play another Ultra Ball though. So I think we can discard, I guess, the in and the Lele. I don't know. So I do the in and the Lele, thinking that I can get a Salandit. And it's not horrible to get Salandit, because the next turn we can evolve up into Salazzle and have that potential for a third round attacker. What I'm kind of envisioning happening is, if everything works out right, we will attach onto both Ho-Oh and Volcanion off of this. So let me think for a second. Yeah, so we can steam up, we can then attack Power Heater, and we'll be able to attach to Ho-Oh and our Volcanion-EX. Then next turn we can use our Battle Compressor to get more energies in the discard and to get a Blacksmith will enable us to attack numbers actually worked out perfect for that attack to come from Volcanion-EX. We have Float Stone in hand. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and play it this way. See Sycamore come down. It's quite alright by us, we don't care. Hypnotoxic Laser. So he's going to take the KO here. So he'll get 10 damage there, he'll get 30 damage there, 80, 30, that's 110. Oh, and that's it. Okay, so we don't quite get KO'd here. Float Stone helps us out a lot. So we'll go ahead and evolve. And I think we want to manually attach to Ho-Oh. We could use Blacksmith to power up Ho-Oh, but I think it's better to use Blacksmith to power up our Volk, because we hit the perfect numbers right now when we need them, and then next turn we will be able to potentially get some stuff off of Ho-Oh then. So discard the energy and the Blacksmith, so the Blacksmith has something to attach. And we're going to put it on our Volcanion-EX, hit that 180 right on the nose, and knock out this Darkrai. And this should as well mean that our opponent is unable to KO anything next turn, because he only has one energy out. He'll be able to attack if he can get an energy. That's about it. So it's gonna work out pretty well. So he has a Lysander in hand. Not sure what he wants to Lysander. Okay, he just wants to take the knockout, get one prize. That's fine. It's pretty clear that our opponent doesn't have an optimized Darkrai. I went ahead and led off with Ho-Oh here. And then I grabbed Blacksmith, but I made a mistake here in that I didn't check the discard. And I'm pretty sure we only had one energy in there. So we actually would not have been able to take a knockout. But our opponent resigned anyways. So worked out for us, worked out reasonably well. But you can make certainly an argument that we should have actually promoted the Volcanion to hit another 130, and then probably even played the Colress. Like, we could have benched the two Pokemon that we had in hand, played the Colress, and then potentially gotten enough energies to steam up and take another KO. But anyway, that isn't what happened. We had a slight mistake, and it doesn't really matter because our opponent conceded anyway. So, hopefully this gives you a good kind of overview of how the deck can be played. We'll definitely have more matches. I've already got a series of matches against Seismitoad, and that's a good one too. It was actually another 60 cards tournament, so best of 3 situation. Really, it was a pretty fun match. We'll definitely get some Trevenant, some Darkrai, and whatever else we kind of run into. But with that, this is Jeffrey signing off.